Oh, it says live.
We're almost there. That's about 50%. The line's almost across. Okay, we're good to go.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I'm going to call the regular meeting of council to order here. And as per our usual, I will start with the territorial acknowledgement. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. An agenda was circulated. I would seek a motion to approve this agenda. If there are no issues with taking anything away. Councillor Christie, and seconded by Councillor Emery. Thank you. Any objections? So the agenda is approved. Minutes of November 23rd council meeting were circulated. Has anyone detected any errors or omissions to those minutes? If not, a motion to approve, Councillor Baker, and seconded Councillor Fothrop. No objections. The minutes are approved. So we'll move on to our request for decision. And the first is relating to the temporary borrowing resolution. And I'll ask Councillor Baker to speak to this motion, please.
Your worship, members of council, temporary borrowing resolution are used as temporary financing for the capital projects, and when approved by the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, provides municipalities with the authority to prevent financing capital projects in the long-term debt when it is determined appropriate. Once the projects are completed and then actually costs are known, the town will determine if debt financing continues to be appropriate to some of all the projects, some and all of the projects below, and enter into a long-term borrowing with a municipal finance corporation by issuing a determined in the fall 2021. The projects include the following. Motion was previously approved by council in its capital budget process for this year ended March 31st, 2021, which planned funding coming from the long-term debt. Your worship, members of council, the motion would be council approve the temporary borrowing resolution, the amount exceeding $1,378,000 from the following items, and it'd be the Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing ministerially approved. And the projects, your worship, are Albion Street water main, $433,000, water field generator, your water utility, $240,000, modern wells water utility, $40,000, the fire truck, a new fire truck, pumper truck, $600,000, and land purchase of $65,000, which comes to a total of $1,378,000. I so move, your worship.
Thank you so much. Deputy Mayor Davidson, are you seconding?
Yes, I'd like to second the motion, your worship.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions or further discussion on the motion? If not, then as per our usual in virtual meetings, I will seek nay votes. So are there any nay votes? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Baker.
Your worship, just before you continue, I need to declare conflict with this one.
Thank you, Councillor Emery.
I'm going to leave the meeting for a moment.
Thank you very much. All right. The next item is the Challenge Fund Agreement, and I'll call upon Councillor Christie, please, to present this one.
Thank you, Your Worship. The synopsis is Challenge Fund Agreement. The Pathway to Canada Target 1 Challenge Fund, or Challenge Fund, is a national project which provides funds through provincial departments to municipalities, nonprofits, and Indigenous groups in order to secure lands which will make significant contribution conserving 17% of Canada's land and freshwater resources. The proposed agreement could result in the town of Amherst receiving a total of approximately $1,352,020 in funding to secure land in and around the North Tyndall well field. Through this project, the town will work with the Department of Environment to identify priority properties to be acquired and work towards property acquisition and protection. Depending on the unique circumstances of each property, final ownership may rest with either the town of Amherst or the Department of the Environment. The town has chosen to participate due to our previous efforts to protect the land resources in this area. The area's unique biodiversity, as well as the importance of this area and as a land bridge to species traveling between the peninsula of Nova Scotia and the mainland of the continent. So the motion is as follows: that council approve and authorize the mayor and CAO to sign the attached Advancing Target 1 in Nova Scotia, the collaborative conservation approach to agreement between the town of Amherst and the Nova Scotia Department of the Environment.
Thank you so much. And to second, is that you, Councillor Bothrop, with your hand up?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or further discussion on this motion?
Yes, your worship, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Bothrop.
Obviously, it's a tremendous project. My question is, do you receive the funds in advance, or is it operating as a credit fund that when you purchase lands for X amount, that then you draw on that fund from the federal government?
Mr. Harrod or Mr. McDonald, might you be able to address that question?
Your worship, I think Mr. McDonald can answer that.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. McDonald, please.
Thank you, Worship. It's my understanding that at no point in time would we be actually paying for the land. The land would be paid for by the province, because the province will be given the money by the feds, and then the land ownership would transfer to the town of Amherst.
Okay, thank you. I was just wondering if the money had to sit in our account, but obviously what you're saying, it sits in the provincial account, and we just act as a middle person securing the property for purchase, and then the province gives the money to the landowner.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Then I will call for the vote. So are there any nay votes? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next, the Dr. and Mrs. H.E. Christie Community Foundation donation. And I'll ask Deputy Mayor Davidson to present this one.
Thank you, Your Worship. The town received a request from Paul Mahaney, Executive Director of the Dr. and Mrs. H.E. Christie Community Foundation, to accept a $10,000 donation to be used for the Cumberland County Minor Hockey Association programs. I would move, Your Worship, that council approve the acceptance of the donation from the Dr. and Mrs. H.E. Christie Community Foundation and the disbursement to Cumberland County Minor Hockey Association in the amount of $10,000 in accordance with the request of the donor.
Thank you for the motion. And I see Councillor Christie's hand up to second that motion.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Any questions or discussion?
Well, your worship, Councillor Baker, I guess this Christie Foundation, is it like the town of Amherst? Does people request the funds, or do Christie's just pick certain organizations each year and donate it back to the town of Amherst?
Well, my understanding is that we're just simply a go-through where the foundation has earmarked and decided where their money goes. They just pass it through the town as a matter of process, but we're not part of the decision.
No, I realize that, but I'm just saying, under their, under their organization, does people apply it, or do they pick themselves who they want to donate? Do you know that answer?
I can't answer that. Mr. Harrod, would you know the answer to that part of the question?
Your worship, what I can tell you is that is we don't solicit these donations. We're not out knocking on doors looking for them. We're approached by the organizations to make these donations, and we really don't have an insight into the process that the organizations have in terms of how they select the donors.
Okay.
They have been, both of these, there's another one on the agenda, and both of these have traditionally been local sporting organizations and mostly targeted toward youth.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, then I will put this to the vote. Are there any nay votes? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Our next item is the Benevity Community Impact Fund donation. And I'll call upon Councillor Emery, please, to present this one.
Your worship, members of council, the town has received a donation of $10,000 from Stephen Maltby via the Benevity Community Impact Fund to be spent on the following children's programs. Cumberland Spartans Swim Club, $2,500. Amherst Bantam Baseball, $2,000. Amherst Little League, $2,000. Cumberland County Minor Hockey Association, $2,500. And Fundy Soccer, $1,000 for a total of $10,000. I move that council approve the acceptance of the donation from Stephen Maltby via the Benevity Community Impact Fund and the disbursements noted above in accordance with the request of the donor.
Thank you so much. And I see Councillor Landry's hand to second that motion.
Yes, Your Worship, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will put it to the vote. Are there any nay votes? If not, then the motion carries unanimously. And move on to item 4.5, Community Credit Union Business Innovation Center Agreement.
Your worship, I'd like to conflict of interest. I'll mute myself out and video out.
Thank you very much, Councillor Baker. Appreciate that.
Your worship,
I'm also on the board of the credit union, so I'll turn my video off as well.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. All right. Now I will call upon Councillor Landry, please, to make this motion.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the synopsis is the Community Credit Union Business Innovation Center Naming Rights Agreement. In 2016, the Town of Amherst and the Community Credit Union, CCU, entered into a naming rights agreement for $200,000 in return for the naming rights of the newly renovated former Town Hall, now known as the Community Credit Union Business Innovation Center. CCU made annual payments in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019, but due to significant financial losses, has been unable to make the payment due on January 1, 2020. This resulted in the CCU making a proposal to change the payment schedule, among other things. During discussion with regard to a potential agreement, the CCU was advised that the town was pleased that the CCU had made the proposal and that the town was anxious to find a way to contribute the agreement while staying true to the original intent of the agreement and, above all, ensuring that the total amount of the contribution under the agreement was still eventually received from CCU. The tentative agreement reached is reflected in the proposed MOU. So the following motion that council approve the attached memorandum of agreement, MOU, between the town of Amherst and the Community Credit Union of Cumberland Colchester Limited, which extends the period for payments under the naming rights agreement and waives arrears interest in the amount of $1,119.27 and usage charges in the amount of $275, and authorize the CAO to sign the MOU on behalf of the town. So moved, Your Worship.
Thank you so much. And seconding, I see a hand from Deputy Mayor Davidson.
Yes, Your Worship, I'd be very pleased to second this motion. I think it's been a great job done between the CAO and the credit union to get this deal done.
I concur. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or discussion on the motion? If not, I will ask for nay votes, please. Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And that brings us to internal committee reports. And the only one that we have tonight, I will call upon our junior mayor, Rajan Manoj McKinney, to present the Amherst Youth Town Council report. Junior Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship. So my name is Rajan Manoj McKinney, and I am the current junior mayor for the Amherst Youth Town Council. I will be presenting the AYTC monthly report, which has been written by Jenna Stewart. The Amherst Youth Town Council met on Wednesday, November 4th in the Amherst Regional High School Library at 3:05 p.m. During this meeting, special guest Sarah McMaster, director of Maggie's Place Family Resource Center, was in attendance via Zoom. At this meeting, Maggie's Place director discussed the ideas of creating a youth center in the town of Amherst. The youth center would be a safe place that local youth can go to for support. Based on a model in Truro, the center would be a resource for youth in the community where you could hang out, have something to eat, study, or talk to supportive adults. It was also mentioned that this space could be a potential meeting place for the AYTC. The Youth Council supports this idea and hopes to see action take place in the new year. In addition, the Amherst Youth Town Council discussed our plans for the year. This includes conducting our annual youth survey on topics such as COVID-19, mental health, police reform, social justice, climate change, and needed resources in our community. Our goal is to have the survey distributed online in the new year. The Amherst Youth Town Council's last meeting was on Wednesday, December 2nd in the Amherst Regional High School Library at 3:05 p.m. This meeting will be included in our next report.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions of the junior mayor? No, thank you very much. We will move on to external committee reports, and the first is the Cumberland Public Libraries. I'll call upon Councillor Frothrow.
Yes, Your Worship, members of council, this is the December 2020 report from the Cumberland Public Libraries. At our meeting in December, we had elections, and the board re-elected Councillor Dale Frothrow as chair and elected Ms. Amanda McLeod as treasurer. COVID-19. Chief Librarian Denise Corey presented the board with COVID-19 exposure procedures. Ms. Corey also reported that should public health close libraries in Cumberland County, Cumberland Public Libraries is prepared to continue to offer borrowing services. The library will continue to offer electronic resources like Overdrive, RB Digital, as well as borrow by mail and contactless pickup. In terms of statistics, in the month of October, Cumberland Public Libraries signed out over 5,900 items. This includes books, movies, TV shows, magazines, and more. Also in October, Four Fires Library held 7 in-person programs, including the Trail of Treats with 605 people attending, 25 virtual programs with 409 views, and distributed 50 take and make crafts. The Four Fires Library had 2,370 in-person visits. The next board meeting is scheduled for February the 4th, 2020.
Thank you very much, Councillor Frothrow. Does anyone have any questions on this report? I see no hands. We'll move along now to the Cumberland YMCA, and it's back to you again, Councillor Frothrow.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council. This is the external report for the Cumberland YMCA, December 2020. The YMCA of Cumberland is using resources to help seniors and children during the holiday season. Santa for Seniors, a program where community members purchase gifts for local seniors, was launched in late November with an extremely positive response. Through the program, community members chose tags from Christmas trees located in the YMCA and Simply for Life that had gift items requested by seniors. The program is targeted at seniors who might be alone for the holidays. Seniors are more likely to be alone this year due to the pandemic and limited travel and or visits from family members. The response from the community was overwhelming. It says 250 tags, but in actual fact, it ended up being 300 tags went out, said YMCA diversion support worker Ellen Godet. We're very excited to deliver these presents to the seniors. And I will say that I was down this morning wrapping gifts, and was quite an organization to see all these gifts going out today. The YMCA of Cumberland is also partnering with Amherst Heart Stores on the Heart Holiday Giving Toy Drive. Customers at Heart purchase toys to be distributed throughout the community, and YMCA staff and volunteers will deliver the toys to families in need through community partners and schools just in time for Christmas. The Triders Trail or Treat Run took place on November the 7th, 2020, with 74 registered participants. The net amount raised is $1,800. Things went well, and participants were compliant and understanding of the procedures in relation to COVID-19. Peace Week. This year, we recognized 2 individuals with YMCA Peace Medals. Joanne Cottrell was recognized for her work with a school lunch program in Haiti, and Colleen Dow was awarded for her work done locally with multiple community-based projects. The coldest night of the year. The official launch of the coldest night of the year was on December the 1st, 2020. This COVID-safe, family-friendly walk to raise money for our YMCA will be taking place on Saturday, February the 20th, 2021. There will be both virtual and in-person options, with the majority of the event taking place outside, along with some changes to ensure safe practices and social distancing. And now next is the Uplift program. This was wrapped up after 6 weeks of activities with 14 youth. Activities range from swimming, basketball, dodgeball, meal prep, and other activities that promote healthy lifestyles and living. The children would like to work with the town of Amherst to put additional resources in place at the outdoor skating rink to make it more accessible for everyone. Banana Republic donated surplus clothing to the YMCA, which has been shared with staff as well as passed on to other organizations in town that work with vulnerable populations, including Autumn House, Maggie's Place, Schools Plus, and The Bridge. YMCA also had a drop-off location for Coats for Cumberland community development staff participated in the coordination, setup, and running of the program at the Amherst Center Mall. Over 150 individuals and families were helped through this program that worked closely with other community partners such as Maggie's Place, Holy Family Church, local schools, food banks, and Empowering Beyond Borders. The service-based count that was due to be conducted in March 2020 but canceled as a result of COVID-19 is being rescheduled for March 2021. The count would allow us to get a better understanding of the current state of homelessness in Cumberland County and to understand the current gaps in services and the persistent barriers that many of our community members face. The information collected from the research will help identify a more thorough understanding of the nature of homelessness in Cumberland County and contribute to understanding the gaps in service delivery to support the population. The manager of community development is currently working with public health to get this initiative rolling again, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to conduct this much needed work in spite of the current pandemic. Membership is at 795 as of today, a significant decrease over the past 4 weeks due to the end of swimming lessons and the restrictions for our New Brunswick residents. And that concludes the report, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. That's quite comprehensive and very interesting. Are there questions? I see Councillor Baker's hand up.
Yeah, Your Worship, to Councillor Hawthorpe. When I read that report, it just amazes me how great the YMCA is doing the projects they're doing, and the trail for treats. I know I was down and I pulled in front of the town hall. They said they had over 600 treats and they ran out. They had to go get more. So that just proves that you did a great job. And with the YMCA out there, I think it's so important to our community. And just go back to the last report, Your Worship. Yes, missed my hand. Just one comment on the last report on the libraries. Yeah, says next meeting, February the 4th, should be 2021, not 2020. Just a simple little correction.
Thank you, Councillor Baker.
See on the bottom there?
Yes, I see it.
Yeah. But like I say about the YMCA, it's not only the YMCA in our community, it's all the other organizations in our community, how they come up to the plate. And if it wasn't for those organizers in their communities, we wouldn't have half what we got. So I just want to put a big thank you out to them. And a great job they're doing in our community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anything else? All right, well, thank you very much. And the next report we have is the LA Animal Shelter, and that's Councillor Hawthorpe again.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. The external committee report for the LA Animal Shelter, December 2020. Greetings from the LA Animal Shelter. At the moment, we have 44 cats and 7 dogs in our care. At Christmas time, we have a deadline for adoption as well. We feel that people tend to make rash decisions when bringing an animal into their home for a gift for someone. Therefore, December the 18th, which is past, was the deadline until after Christmas. We're looking forward to making some big changes to our Dixon building, which is on site and in the past have been used as a quarantine facility. Our goal is to have the space used again as such and are getting quotes to move forward in the early part of 2021. Our fundraising committee is in place on our board and have monthly innovative ideas which raise funds for our shelter. Teas, online auctions, bowl-a-thon are among the latest that have been huge successes. We will keep you all updated on the progress of our fundraising and the Dixon building quarantine endeavors. Please feel free to ask general questions regarding any aspect of the shelter running.
Thank you,
That
Councillor
concludes the report.
Fothra. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Questions for Councillor Fothra? No? Then we'll move along here to senior safety. And that is Councillor Emery, please.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council. The Senior Safety Committee has just recently launched the Plow It Forward program. This is a project that started in Lunenburg County as Neighbors Helping Neighbors initiative. The Cumberland Senior Safety Program has permission to use their posters and to replicate their campaign here in Cumberland County. The campaign asks neighbors to adopt a senior and help with their snow removal. People can volunteer to help shovel or plow as individuals, as a family, or business that may want to help. Snow that has not been cleared away can keep a senior from getting to groceries, mail, medications, and home care services on which they may depend on. Also, a senior clearing their own snow puts them at risk of broken bones or possibly a heart attack or stroke. It is important to note that this is not designed in any way to take away from those who plow or shovel for a living. The target recipients are seniors who cannot afford to pay someone to plow or shovel. Perhaps they can't afford to pay someone multiple times during the long winter, or perhaps they can't get the work done to coincide with their home care visits. The Senior Safety Committee is hoping to launch a Rake It Forward program in the spring, followed by a Mow It Forward program in the summer, and possibly followed by a Stack It, which is firewood, forward for next fall. The Senior Safety Committee appreciates the help of Town Council in getting this information out and the ongoing support of the Senior Safety Program. And there's also a poster attached just below. I think, there it is. And that concludes the report.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. Questions for Councillor Emery? No, thank you very much. And our next report that we have is poverty reduction, and that's Councillor Landry, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This will just be a brief report as we're rebuilding this committee. The Advisory Committee to Reduce Poverty is currently undergoing a restructuring process. This will include the development of an amended terms of reference, as well as a recall of the committee's membership. Discussions regarding specifics of the terms of reference are currently taking place, and proposed amendments will be brought forward before the Committee of the Whole in the near future. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Councillor Landry? All right, thank you. And our final item report on the agenda is the Municipal Alcohol Project. Councillor Emery, please.
Thank you, Your Worship, members of council. The committee met for the first time with the new council members from the 3 municipalities on December 10th. An invitation to attend a mental wellness roundtable webinar was extended to us. The webinar was hosted by Pictou County Community Health Boards, and it was about how do we create a better community response to mental health crisis. It was held virtually the evening of December 15th from 7 till 8:30. The big takeaway of this webinar was the hub model of policing out of Fredericton. This is an integrated wraparound community services team on patrols. This team includes an intimate partner violence coordinator, community liaison officer, a youth services officer, mental health coordinator, and victim or witness service coordinators. There was discussion on where to, the next section is there was a discussion on where to hold future meetings once we can meet in person again. Members of the committee agreed to travel to other locations, including Oxford and Spring Hill. In the new year, there will be talks with members of other community groups to join the team. An approach will be made to Cumberland MAD chapter, Schools Plus, Maggie's Place, EHS, and student representatives from ARHS and NSCC. The committee will be working on safety tips for hosting events and parties that have alcohol. The tips will be in regards to avoiding impaired judgment and respecting public health directives. The team will also be working on community events checklist regarding some non-alcoholic, alcohol-specific rules and suggestions. There will be collaboration with another MAP group to get this done. A member of the opioid working group will attend future meetings to discuss their work and possible intersections for collaboration with our MAP committee. And discussions will begin at the next meeting, January 5th, regarding alcohol delivery being set up by the Nova Scotia Liquor Commission. This group is interested in finding out more regarding the legalities of delivery of alcohol by taxi and the rationale behind this for the NSLC. And that concludes the report, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Emery. Are there questions? All right, well, that does conclude our written agenda. I would just like to be able to say to everybody here, council, town staff, Amherst Youth Council, to wish everybody a happy and even more importantly, a safe holiday season, respecting all the issues that we're dealing with. I hope it's a good season for everybody, that you hopefully get to spend some time with family and friends, but being safe and following all the health guidelines. And with that, I would then seek a motion to adjourn the meeting. Deputy Mayor Davidson and seconding Councillor Landry. Thank you. Are there any objections? If not, then I declare the meeting adjourned, and Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Same to everybody.